Well, if you've seen the cover, you've seen the Jeep, and you can imagine how long I've spent building that Jeep. And I got it done, and I had to quit driving. I test drove it one time, I was actually pretty impressed. So, got some stuff to put on there. So let's go get the Jeep. I'll show you why I haven't drove it. So I know y'all can't hear it, but I test drove it down my road and it's bumpy. And everything under the Jeep is 100% brand new. And I kept hearing this popping. Well, everything's brand new except for the tie rod. So I got under there and looked, and after all the time I spent painting the tie rods and crap, one of them's bad. And I'll elaborate on the story here in just a second. So I ain't opened the box yet because I told you I was going to show you what the problem was first. So that's what I'm going to do. But I've got over the axle track bar. So just a little trick at home, whenever you're doing anything with a track bar, take it off on the ground, because technically it shouldn't have any pressure on it. When you lift it up, it pulls it over. So get the track bar off there first thing. Oh, don't scratch the paint. See, that's what I was talking about. When you lift it up, all that stuff don't align. So take it off on the ground. It's shouldn't have any pressure at all. This Jeep's painted underneath, top, bottom, clear coat, everything, axles. So gotta be sure and lay a rag down, don't scratch the paint. So this is what I was talking about. Look how much gap we've opened up there. So you can imagine how much pressure to get this bolt out of there if you try it right now. Still can be done. I use ratchet straps, but a little easier. So the reason I'm not driving it, let me grab a light. Okay, look right here. This is the noise. That's not good at all. So reason I stopped is a boy that used to work for me. We didn't know, it's two-wheel drive Jeep, and he was driving down my road and he called me. It had fell off and he crashed. So you can imagine that Jeep right there. I definitely don't want to crash it. So let's open the box up and see what I actually even bought. I have not opened that. All right, well, I know it's freaking heavy, but I don't know what's in there. I can't tell if this is a joke. There's actually Skittles and something else in there. That's kind of random. Y'all gotta check this paint out. I don't think it's hammered paint. It's something different, but pretty cool. I thought I just ordered a standard gray. And that's what I was gonna say. I know common sense. I'm not wheeling this thing, and it's never gonna be, don't even need that steering, but it looks a lot better. So, figure out, I don't think it has instructions, so I gotta figure out how this track bar does. I forgot everything's going digital. Scan me for instructions. So it's not really that bad, honestly, as long as you got internet. Some people with stuff like this lives in the middle of nowhere. Well, I didn't do enough reading. Turns out you have to weld the bracket on. Oh, I'm still okay with that if it'll fit. Like I said, all this stuff is paint, whatever, and it's not perfect. I mean, look, I didn't spend that much time, but who's to say who's getting that freaking close to looking at axle? You're gonna find something wrong in the first place. So I'm going to knock this steering off. Pretty common sense. I don't think I need to explain there, and we'll see if it's gonna work. Got the steering unbolted. Two little tricks. Nowadays China's getting cheaper, and they figured out that they can make those smaller. So those are sometimes they're 3/4, sometimes that's 11/16. But to get it off there, I'm gonna hit over here where nobody can see, and it just falls right out. So same thing on the rest of them. I'm gonna pull that track bar off, and it'll be for sale. It has about 3 miles on the track bar, so pretty close to brand new. So got a track bar for sale. This one's a little bit beefier, but it ain't got many miles on it. So I'm gonna stick this bracket up there, and I didn't do this before I grabbed the camera. Should have. I'm afraid my sway bar may cause issues. Let me see if I can turn them around the other way. So the one in the instructions right where my finger is has It only has one hole, and it's actually hitting right here, so it's not a perfect, I don't know if y'all can see the hole good, but not a perfect fit. But I think if I can grind some of this out of there, I can at least make it work. But I don't want to grind my axles. It's so painted, so painted. So I cut this bracket, and I know it don't make sense now, but it will when I get to there. And then I've notched that right there. And I would have showed y'all, but I don't run like 2 GoPros with grinders and plasma cutters, so I'm trying to be a little more cautious. See if it'll fit. Get burnt. Where's it go? Closer. Still got it. I might cut the spring pocket right there. Let's try that and see how that works. This seems to be the area that it's hitting, so I'm gonna cut straight across there, straight across there. I don't even think I told y'all earlier, the sway bar, I know it's not perfect, but I think I'm just gonna put the bushing through there and leave that disconnect. And y'all know I ain't off-roading this stupid thing. They're just what the kit comes with, so it's how it was before, but be all right. All right, what a idiot move, I guess you'd say. The instructions, of course, are not perfectly clear, but if you look, there's only one bolt hole there. Right there, I know it's hard to see. There's only one bolt hole, and same thing, shows one bolt hole there. But I remembered I ordered this for a 7 to 8 inch lift, and I think what they have done is added more material to raise it up for better steering, and I think that's just for there's a razor blade looks, because after I cut all that off there, I stuck it up there again, and that hole lines up perfect. So I hope, I guess, it's the thing about digital instructions, they're not very clear, but we're gonna go with it, hope it works. So I took a marker and marked all the spots that I've got to weld to, and as bad as I hate it, I gotta get that paint off there, so I'm gonna grind that off there, and maybe it'll look better when it's all said and done. No. I think we're good to go. The reason that I cut the small tab right there when I was using the wrong hole for alignment, it wouldn't reach, so I was going to weld it and then knock it down to reach. So now it does reach. Like I said, I don't know if that's my fault, their fault. I feel like they could have included that in the instructions, but I'm gonna weld the back side of that up, and then I'm gonna stick it up there, bolt it, and probably just tack it. And I'm probably gonna fully assemble everything just to make sure everything's right before I go fully welding this thing on there. Wow, what a perfect opportunity. My welder quit spitting gas out, so something else to work on. So the welder's out of commission for now, and I got to reading, I was going to keep on going, but I'm going to get a valve for it tomorrow. But I was reading the instructions, they use a reamer, and I think I understand why. I do 3/4 bolts, so I can use one of these bits, and they're just nice and easy. They go through there really easy. But I didn't have, all I had was a drill bit, and I was reading the instructions. I think I understand why. I think when you try to start this, it's gonna wiggle wobble around. So what I'm gonna do is run this down till I get to 5/8 and then carry on with that bit. But I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I'm gonna get a part for the welder. I don't like drilling holes, so I found a life hack. I get my transmission jack. Not sure if I can do this one-handed, but y'all get the concept. My drill bit I use over there to drill concrete, so it's not very good. Yep, I'm gonna put the camera down before I break my arm. In the instructions, it mentioned to get rid of this right here. I don't have to, but as far as I am in this Jeep, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So, still waiting to fix the welder. I'm gonna try to go get that at lunch. Got it cut off there. It's laying right there. Just looks so naked, but much better. So So I'm probably gonna like tape up right here, primer that, get it leveled up, and then take that off there and see if I can paint match it. I did find my colors. Clear, obviously. And this is Rust-Oleum, no, Krylon Metallic Dark Metal. So that's what color it was. I just used automotive clear. Like I said, I'm gonna do a couple layers of primer right there. I don't know if y'all can see, it's a little wavy from where I was grinding it, but I think I can go ahead and stick the drag link on. This is heavy, can't do it by myself and film. Maybe I can, but I think it comes with 3 washers. I would assume bolt and then washer and then misalignment, another washer, stick it up there, and then washer on top of that, and then nut. So see if I can get it stuck up there. Bolt seem a little bit long, but this one I'm afraid will hit this tie rod, crossbar, whatever. But I'm gonna go up. I got 20s. I don't think clearance be a problem. Up here, I'm kind of worried it'll hit the frame. I hadn't tightened them up yet, but just wanted to show y'all that before I forgot, because if you got 16s or 17s, that bolt may, and you can run the crossbar, tie rod, whatever, on the bottom of the knuckle, but just looks better a little higher. So you can see I'm gonna keep getting a couple layers of paint on there till it looks a little better. Talking about being pretty close, check that out. I think it's gonna clear, but if it not, I think the bolt just knocked that piece of metal off there. So you might put the bolt down, but I like the way it looks going up. Personal preference. Not that y'all care on this video, but that's the wrong color. I guess I have to go into Walmart and figure out what color I need actually. No, it's not really part of the video, but I drug this welder, I called people, I checked this, checked that. I was just gonna wire it straight instead of using the valve and just get somebody to turn it on or leave it on. And some punk, I don't know who it is, I realized that it is on. Somebody just turned the regulator off. So that's kind of low on whoever you are, but we'll get that put together and now I can weld that bracket up. Got the bracket bolted up. These gaps look good. This gap here, kind of like a gap city wedge right there, weld right there. So like I said, I'm just going to reasonably tack it till I make sure everything's gonna be perfect before I fully weld it. Yeah, I don't want to get screwed. So still need some paint. I'm gonna go ahead and live dangerously. I'm gonna go ahead and weld it. It right there touches, so if you gotta put a little twist on it right there with the hems, but I think everything else clear. I mean, the drag length, there's no reason this should get in the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld it. One little quick trick, when you're welding paint, like back there, if you'll just weld for like just a second and let it sit, that paint will kind of burn and it'll just move over to the exact side of the bead right there and just keep pulling and just keep bobbing it. And like on the bodies of the Jeep or off-road stuff we don't really care about, that's what I'll do. I don't even grind. I'll just burn one hot spot and let it sit for just a split second and then pull it again. And look, it's actually a nice looking weld you get done. Whew, that took a whole lot more welding or work than I was expecting. Not a welder. I don't care what they look like as long as it gets the job done. So I'm gonna see if we can tape it off and get some primer and then go find the right color paint. Okay, well, you can see that's like a dark gray, like gunmetal kind of color. So I went and bought every single color that Walmart had. I honestly don't think they make what I painted it with, because that looks just like it, but with the light, I don't know, maybe that is it. What the heck? Well, I went and bought all this paint I didn't even need. I don't know, that's not the same color. No, that's darker than that right there. So I'm gonna play with some of these colors and see if I can get something, maybe just have to blend it in. What a waste of money. I had the right color the whole time. It's the same color. I guess I just wasn't spraying it heavy enough, but let that dry, clear coat it, and then get back on the steering. Well, got it all cleared up. Get the tape off. Nothing to see there. And I think now all that's left is just to put it together, basically. For whatever reason, the Johnny joint here, it goes on the lower end, and then the rubber bushing, or whatever that bushing is, goes on the body side. I guess that's just for vibrations and noise and stuff. So I'm gonna get it bolted up, and like I showed you taking it off, I'm gonna put it on the ground, and wherever it settles, I'll screw this the wrong way and get it centered up. So go and get that bolted up and bungeed up so don't scratch nothing. About forgot one step. It comes with bolts, so you gotta drill that out to, I think 9/16, I believe what the instructions said. Quick little trick, trying to measure a bolt, use a wrench, 9/16. Got the track bar stuck up there, bow this way to clear the diff, and like those are okay to tighten now, but anything with like a molded rubber bushing, you have to wait till it's settled on the ground to tighten the bolt, or it'll like put pre-tension on the rubber, whatever. So I don't actually know what that bushing is, but I'm just gonna be safe on it. So I got it zip tied up. Let's get the tie rod on there and should be able to sit on the ground. Well, I'm gonna tighten the sway bar up. That's gonna be tricky to get in there since it's at a weird angle. Can't be having that. I'm sure there's a scientific way of putting left-handed threads on one side, right-handed on the other. That's up to you, it don't matter. So what I'm gonna do now is look down the rotor to the back tire. And you can see I got this one pretty close, but this one is pretty far off. So I'm gonna work on unscrewing these and getting it pretty close. And then we'll when I get on the ground, we can look at the tires and get it a little bit closer. One of the little things I forgot I even knew is for my buggy, anything that has any form of markings is the left-handed thread. I don't know if y'all can see that. Those are the left-handed threads, so somehow they wound up on the right side of the Jeep. It'll work. Got everything bolted up. I noticed on the bottom, I don't know, about 3/16, quarter of an inch, probably like 7 millimeters. That's what it's straight. So I went ahead and put about the same gap on that. I'm sure the track bar is gonna be about the same right there too. So get some tires on it and see what it does, and then I want to drive it. I still ain't drove the thing. About forgot this thing. Steering stabilizer. I do not run steering stabilizers on anything that, I mean, you can, but it's just masked the problem. That's a different video. I'll have it coming up. But if you've got death wobble, you've got an issue somewhere. So figure it out. Yeah. I forgot that with this setup, you can do the toe in, toe out on the lift, since it's not a Y-link setup. And not gonna get technical on this. This is gonna be more on my death wobble video. But all I do for alignment is stick a tape measure from like a good surface here to a good surface here. Same thing on the back, you know, try to do it parallel with the knuckles or whatever. And the front end will be just a measurable number wider than the rear. I know it's wrong. We'll get on that another day. But I'll see if I can show you a little trick here. Okay, so you can do it this way if you find the same lugs and make sure they're lined up with the knuckles. There ain't no way I can do it the other way on video, but pull it there. Find the same lug, 62.5 to that lug. All right, should be the same lug. 62, wow, oh my gosh. That's not what I prefer, but as close as that is, I think I'm gonna roll with it and see what happens. I'm sure somebody's gonna ask. I would have preferably widened the front end out just absolute half turn, but as much as I'm gonna drive this Jeep, I think it's gonna be fine. It's funny, I was worried about this clearing the wheel. I think I'm in the clear. I wanna show you how to get this to hang up there just perfectly. I always see on the Jeep pages, everybody's complaining about this is hanging down. It's not complicated at all. Just raise it up as high as you possibly can. Tighten the right-handed nut up here. And there you go. It should hang out right where it needs to be. Tighten this jam nut up. Same thing on this side too. So nothing to it. Got the tie rod ready, crossbar, whatever we're gonna call it. I'm ready to get it on the ground. Steering wheel's never been straight in this thing, so I'm excited to see it straight for no real reason. But yeah, it should naturally square up with everything by itself. Might double check, but that's all you gotta do there. And then on the track bar, just simply screw it out until it matches up with a hole. And we'll get all that tightened up and then worry about getting the steering wheel straightened up. I'm so curious if it drove good with stock steering, how good it's gonna drive with all this fancy, expensive stuff. I was sitting here complaining I couldn't get my wrench in there, but turns out the nut is a different size than the head of the bolt. But don't forget your track bar. Now that it's on the ground and settled, it's where you should tighten it up at. I always try to get the hiem joint there, Johnny joint, and get a screwdriver. Get everything equal, and you probably have to leave the screwdriver in when you tighten the jam nut. Yep. So it's going to try to twist, so we'll just leave the screwdriver somewhere in there. Woo! I believe that's good. I had to pull it, well, I had to turn it right to get to the track bar bolt. Make sure don't forget that. And I hope this works. It's almost about centered already, but pin. I need more room in the shop, but usually if you'll just kind of go forward and backwards a few times, I think it's already where it wants to be. Usually back up and hit the brakes, and it'll try to get centered the way the old knuckles and all that. So that about where it's at. Be sure to leave the steering wheel unlocked, and we'll have to make the tie rod a little bit longer to get the steering wheel straight. Since they're opposite threads, all you gotta do is take it, let's see, spin it that way. I'll go 2 rounds. And that makes it longer, so that's on the way to getting it straighter. Ain't no professional way to do this. Man, went too far. I believe we're gonna let that ride. May could be better, but we'll drive it down the road and see exactly where it's at. So let me tighten these up and we'll go for a ride. Same thing on this one. I got the right-handed thread on the pitman arm. Maybe this will work out. And raise it way up and then tighten this one up. And as it comes down, it should tighten itself. Yeah, a little different with misalignment joints. You can go ahead and twist the hiem joint down, and then as it comes down, it's pretty straight. So it's kind of confusing. I may do a better video on that, but I'm sure y'all ready to see how this thing drives, or I am anyway. One more thing, we're good for a ride. See how this hiem joint's laid down? That one. So try to make them match each other on both ends, and you'll be good. You can see it's got flex in it. Crank it up, let the air conditioner get to running. I know you're supposed to check for clearances and all that stuff, but I've kind of figured out it'll make a noise or make a shiny spot where it rubs, and you can figure it out down the road. Y'all thought I only built Jeeps. First impression, the steering feels really light to be a Jeep 8-inch on 35s, 8-inch, whatever it is. So get it out on the road. 45 is where death wobble happens, and this is my death wobble bridge tester. Now, it's all good. So yeah, feels very light on the steering, like I said, for a huge Jeep. Definitely an upgrade for sure. I ain't gonna get it out on the highway, I ain't got insurance yet, but curvy back road, it's not too bad. Do about 50. Pretty good for a lifted Jeep. I think that's it for today. Appreciate y'all watching. This is stuff, like I said, I'm doing in the first place. So y'all got any ideas, comment, and we'll just keep going from there.